Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that affects millions of women worldwide, Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, or PCOS. We've previously discussed what PCOS is, its symptoms, and potential causes. But now, let's focus on the most important question. How can we reverse it? The root cause of PCOS is often insulin resistance. When our cells become resistant to insulin, it leads to a cascade of hormonal imbalances. But don't worry, there's good news. By making targeted lifestyle changes, we can improve insulin sensitivity and manage PCOS symptoms effectively. In this video, I'll be sharing 5 actionable, science-backed strategies to help you take control of your health and start reversing PCOS today. So, grab a pen and paper, and let's get started. Reduce carbohydrates. As mentioned earlier, insulin resistance is the root cause of PCOS. Our cells become resistant to insulin when there's too much circulating in the body. By lowering insulin levels, our cells become more sensitive to it. The key to reversing PCOS is to keep insulin levels as low as possible. Reducing carbohydrate intake helps improve insulin resistance because carbohydrates are the macronutrient that stimulates insulin the most. Eating carbohydrates spikes insulin drastically, while protein spikes it moderately, and fat not at all. Therefore, if you're trying to keep insulin low, it makes sense to reduce the foods that cause it to rise the most. A study involving women with PCOS who switched to a low-carbohydrate ketogenic diet, less than 20 grams of carbs per day, for 6 months showed significant improvements. Participants experienced reductions in weight, free testosterone, and fasting serum insulin levels. 2 women even became pregnant despite previous infertility issues. You don't have to reduce carbs drastically to see results. A 2017 review found that reducing carbohydrate intake to less than 45% of daily calories improved insulin sensitivity, hormonal balance, and ovulation in women with PCOS. This is more than the 20 grams per day in the previous study, but still less than the average person's intake. When reducing carbohydrates, it's important to increase dietary fat. In the absence of carbs, our bodies use fat for energy. If you try to eat low-carb and low-fat, you may feel fatigued and miserable. Sticking to whole foods like meat, fish, eggs, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds can naturally reduce carbohydrate intake without the need to count or track. 2. Eat carbs last. If you're hesitant about reducing carbohydrates, another strategy is to eat carbohydrate-rich foods at the end of your meal, after your protein and non-starchy vegetables. This approach can make the insulin response less drastic. A study involving type 2 diabetics had participants eat the same meal 3 days in a row. On the first day, they ate the carbohydrate portion first, then waited 10 minutes before eating the protein and vegetables. On the second day, they ate the protein and vegetables first, waited 10 minutes, then ate the carbs. On the final day, they ate everything together. Insulin levels were significantly lower after the meal when the carbohydrate portion was eaten last. So, if you can't bear the thought of giving up potatoes and bread, consider at least eating them last. 3. Build muscle. Diet is crucial in addressing insulin resistance, but exercise can help as well. When you exercise, your muscle cells can absorb glucose without insulin. More muscle mass means your body can store more glucose, which can help reverse insulin resistance. Resistance training has been shown to be more beneficial than cardio for improving insulin sensitivity. You don't have to spend hours at the gym. Even 10 to 15 minutes, a couple of times a week, of basic body weight exercises like push-ups, pull-ups, and squats can yield results. A 2019 study found that overweight men who did short-duration resistance training sessions 3 times a week for 6 weeks saw an increase in insulin sensitivity. The same benefits can be obtained by women as well. 4. Eat more salt. You might not expect this tip, but the relationship between salt and insulin resistance is fascinating. Salt is made up of sodium and chloride, both of which are essential electrolytes that our bodies need. For some reason, salt has been linked to negative health outcomes like high blood pressure, although there is little evidence supporting this. Most people do not see a change in their blood pressure when they eat more or less salt. What they do see a change in is when they reduce their sugar consumption and lose weight, even if there is no change to their salt intake. In his book, The Salt Fix, Dr. James D. Nicolantonio outlines how consuming too little salt can shift the body into a semi-starvation mode and cause insulin resistance. Most people can stand to eat more salt without negative consequences. When we consume salt, our body has no problem flushing the excess out. But when we consume too little salt, our bodies have to work overtime to recycle the salt that is already in our system to meet our needs. A study done on diabetics split participants into two groups. One consumed 3,000 milligrams of sodium a day, and the other 6,000 milligrams. Those in the higher salt group saw greater improvements in insulin resistance. The study concluded that an abundant sodium intake may improve glucose tolerance and insulin resistance, especially in diabetic, salt-sensitive, and/or medicated essential hypertension subjects. Salt is especially important if you choose to follow a low-carbohydrate diet. When we reduce carbohydrates in the diet, the body stores less water and, in turn, fewer electrolytes. Consuming enough salt daily is key. Dr. Nicolantonio recommends consuming between 3,000 and 6,000 milligrams of sodium per day. 5. Stop snacking. There's a misconception that eating more often throughout the day is a good idea. The truth is, this strategy is doing more harm than good, especially when it comes to PCOS. Every time we eat, insulin levels rise. If we're eating at short intervals throughout the day, insulin is constantly being bumped up and doesn't have a chance to come back down. This constant eating is part of the reason we become insulin resistant. Intermittent fasting, which involves abstaining from caloric foods and drinks for set periods, usually between 12 and 22 hours, has been shown to be effective for reversing insulin resistance. Some studies show significant improvements in as little as 2 weeks. If you're not ready to try intermittent fasting, simply skipping snacks throughout the day can make a big difference. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below, letting me know if you have PCOS. Is there anything you've tried that has helped or didn't help? Have you tried any of the strategies I spoke about in this video today? Let me know down below by commenting on my videos. It helps to boost engagement, so anything you want to comment down below, I really appreciate it. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!